Sports injuries occur every day, whether it's just a simple strain of a finger or a severe concussion. It is estimated that high school athletes account for 2 million injuries, 500,000 doctor visits, and 30,000 hospitalizations each year. The three sports with the most injuries are basketball, soccer, and football. Basketball with an estimated 170,000 injuries annually, soccer with an estimated 110,000, and football with an estimated 200,000. Today you will be shown what schools are doing to try to prevent these injuries from ever happening.
I think injuries are taken pretty seriously, especially in high school sports, especially with concussions and all of that. We're definitely trying to prevent any future problems from happening. So we do everything we can to address the injury. We take it as serious as possible, and yeah.
I think sports injuries at the high school level are taken pretty seriously, especially concussions. There's certain protocol we have to go through to make sure an athlete is healthy and ready to get back on the field. We have trainers. Sometimes we need the opinion of doctors to get them back on the field. So I think we definitely take it seriously and try to keep our players safe.
A lot of extra precautions have been started to prevent injuries, such as the concussion testing, but also improvement in technology, especially in the helmets. Coaches also have to be certified in CPR to address any issue if something happens on the field. We have trainers out there. So I believe that proper precautions are being put in place to prevent injuries.
Some of the new precautions to prevent injuries or catch them quicker and be able to evaluate them are concussion baseline tests, obviously for concussions, having a trainer on staff to handle things that coaches might not have training for, and also CPR and first aid training being required for coaches every 2 years.
On average, I would say we have somewhere around 5 injuries throughout a typical season, and they vary in severity. I believe there's a difference between being hurt and injured, but with injuries, probably somewhere around 5 that might keep them out for a couple of days or so. But we haven't had anything too serious as long as I've been a coach.
On average, I'd say we have maybe 5 to 10 injuries that vary in how serious they are. Preventing injuries, I think it's necessary for sports because you can't participate if you're not healthy, and you don't want to cause any damage, later on in life or further down the line. So no, taking preventative measures to stop injuries or lessen them is not preventing any enjoyment of any sport.
I don't think taking injuries out of a sport ruins the sport. I get it. I get that people want to be physical and want to try to make it as fun as possible. But if it's going to be a serious injury that's going to hurt you later on in life, it's not worth it. And again, if you're injured during the sport, you're not able to play anyways. So no, I do not think taking injuries out of the sport is going to make it any worse.
Here are some athletes' opinions on how sports injuries are being prevented.
Probably the worst sports injury I've ever had was when I was playing baseball. I tore my Achilles in 2 places.
The worst sports injury I've ever received was probably the concussion I had just a few weeks ago. I would say it's the worst because it takes so long to recover from, and the headaches really don't go away for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's really hard to be in the light and stuff. It's really boring having to try and recover from that.
Yes, this injury was taken seriously. I got the care I needed right away, and I felt good after the injury happened.
I think it was taken seriously enough. I was pulled basically right off the ice, went right to the locker room, and the medic came in and checked me and told me that I needed to go to the hospital. It was scary, but I think that the little bit of fear that we had really made sure that we took it serious and took care of the issue before it got worse.
Well, in baseball, they're going to start having the pitchers on the mound wear helmets to protect their heads to prevent concussions. Coaches and officials know all the concussion protocols and what to do if they believe someone has concussion. So I think overall the safety of the players is improving and precautions are being taken.
Yeah, I would think there's enough precautions taken. Officials take the injuries very seriously. I know And I know that the different sports organizations are trying to create rules and standards of play that try to really get rid of illegal contact or dangerous contact to other players.
There's always going to be injuries in sports, no matter how safe they try to make it. But I don't think it's ruining the game. The game will always be the way it is, and nothing will ever change that.
I feel that it does ruin the sport when sports try to create too many rules to protect the players, because ultimately the sport's been played this way for so long that you have to know playing the sport that there's risks of injuries, and that's why there's different levels of play for different skill sets and sizes. I believe that they need to just kind of leave it alone, and I believe that they need to moderate it somewhat, but they need to just let the players play and do what they have to do. At the end of the day, if you're injured, you're injured. And sadly, it's just what it comes down to. Size shouldn't be an issue, but it is, and it really sucks for those people who can't stay away from getting injured.
There you have it. That is how sports injuries are being prevented in high schools today.